Hey guys, it's Lisa here and welcome back for another what's for dinner video. So in this pot right here, I have 4 pieces of chicken breast that I'm going to bring to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and some pepper. My chicken's been boiling and this is how it's starting to look. And usually that's how I do it. I'll cut it in half and take a look to make sure it's not pink. So this is good for me. I'm just gonna leave it in there just for a few more minutes. And then off to the side over here, I'm gonna be cutting up some white onion. So I'm gonna be cutting up both of these, so maybe like a medium large onion. So I have a bowl over here. I'm gonna remove them and place them in here. I'm going to shred my chicken, so I'm gonna grab a hand blender. You want it to look something like this. So now we're gonna grab a big pan. This is what I'm going to be using. Now to your pan, we're going to add a little bit of oil. And we're going to add our onions. So while your onions are cooking into this blender, we're going to add some tomato sauce. We're going to add 1 can of chipotle in its adobo sauce. Now this is something I don't normally add, but I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, a little bit of salt, some pepper. And then you can add a cup of water or a cup of the chicken stock from where the chicken breast was boiling. And then we're going to blend it. We're going to go ahead and add our chicken in here, our shredded chicken. Now once you mixed in the chicken and the onions, you combined it, this is where you're going to add your sauce. I'll put a lid on this for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll show you how I put it together. Okay, so this is me showing you how to plate it. I'm going to go the easy route, and I'm going to be using these type of tostadas. I'm going to get 1 tostada, and I'm going to smear some avocado. So we're going to put some on each tostada. And now I'm going to get some crema. And I'm going to get some lettuce. And then you're going to grab some queso fresco. And this is my version of chicken Tinga de Pollo. I hope you guys give it a try. And this is what we're going to have for dinner tonight. Alright guys, so it's the following day and I just wanted to share with you guys really quick my lunch. This is the leftover chicken tinga from last night. So it should look like this. And then I have a bowl over here with paper towels. I'm going to stand them in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm grabbing some corn tortillas and I'm wrapping them in a napkin and I'm putting them in the microwave so they can soften up, so they're easier to roll and they don't break. Like that. I would do one with flour. I ran out of corn tortillas. But overall, I'm going to keep working on this. This is how much I have left. So this is what I've made so far. See how they look. And my kids like to dip it in ranch. You could put crema on it. You could put sour cream, avocado, however you want. So I'm going to continue making these, and then I will talk to you guys later for dinner. Alright guys, so for dinner tonight we're going to be making some Bistec Ranchero with rice. So I'm going to make a small batch of rice. I'm going to put my little pan back here. So while my pan is heating up back here, over here I'm going to be dicing up some of my meat. Here I'm using boneless thin shoulder steak. It's the only thing I could find. So let's go ahead and put some oil back here for the rice. That brown back here. Okay, so my rice has browned, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some water. And then I'm gonna add my tomato sauce. Make sure your pan has a lid This one in particularly doesn't have a lid, so which explains why I added the extra water, because I'm gonna have to foil it and the steam comes out a lot quicker. So it takes just a little bit longer to cook on this little pan. So I'm gonna season it with salt, pepper, onion powder, comino, and garlic powder. So I'm gonna let it get to a boil. In the meantime, I'm gonna continue cutting up my meat. This is how I did it. Little diced meat. Okay, so I turned on my pan. I'm gonna go ahead and let it heat up. So while this continues to heat up, I'm gonna start cutting my onion. So my pan heated up, I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add my meat. So my meat is still browning. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting up a jalapeno. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add the onion and the jalapeno, salt and pepper. You're gonna use comino, and you're gonna use garlic powder. So while that is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting the tomatoes. I needed to add a quarter cup, like I needed to add some water, but I had some beef broth left over from the other day. I re-seasoned it all over again, and the reason why I'm saying this, I'm not showing it, is because I thought my camera was on. We're gonna go ahead and turn down the heat, and we're gonna put a lid on it. And my rice should be done. Yep, just looking at it. All right, guys, so here's our plate. Here is my bistec. So we're gonna go ahead and add that here. And we're gonna have it with the side of flour tortillas. And this is what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. All right, guys, so for dinner tonight, we're gonna be smoking some baby back ribs out on the grill. And I'm gonna show you the rub that I'm gonna be using. And in here, we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're gonna grab some chili powder. We're gonna grab 2 teaspoons of paprika. And then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of thyme leaves. And then a teaspoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Let's go ahead and mix that up. So here are my 2 baby back ribs. I put them upside down. Now what I'm gonna do is I am going to remove the membrane. Let me just clean this up really quick. We can grab a knife and score it. See? And then you just pull it out. Alright, so now that I peeled off the membrane in the back, we're going to grab that rub. Alright, and now we're going to place it on our baking sheet. Let's finish the other one. Alright, so here are my ribs. I'm gonna go ahead and put some foil over it, and I'm gonna stick it into the fridge until we're ready to smoke it here in a few more hours. All right, guys, so we pulled them out of the fridge about 30 minutes ago, and this is how it looks. Now we're about to go throw it onto the pit.
I'll do it like that for like 10 minutes, and I'll flip them. And then I'll move them over here to the indirect heat, so they'll smoke for about 2 hours. 2.5 hours.
All right, guys, now for our side dish, we're gonna be making some ranch. They're potato ranch packets, like with the foil. Here I have 2 pounds of potatoes that I've already diced up into bite sizes. this. So to the potatoes, we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Pour that on here. Yeah, we'll do the whole packet. It's a 1 ounce packet. And then we're gonna add half a teaspoon of salt, pepper. Okay. Now let's go ahead and give that a mix. I ended up making 6 packets of the potatoes. All right, so I put them on a baking dish. Now, I did pack them like this because you're gonna cook them seam side down. So we're gonna cook them like this for 10 minutes. And then after the 10-minute mark, we're gonna come back in here, pull them out, and we're gonna flip them over for another 15 minutes. And then they'll basically cook until the potatoes are ready. All right, so my potatoes are now done. So what I'm gonna do is,
Touchdown!
so we're gonna open up all the packets, and I am going to sprinkle each packet with some shredded cheese. And then I'm gonna stick them back into the oven with the packets open, just enough for the cheese to melt. And then over here, I have just frozen corn boiling in buttered water. Let me show you how the ribs look. So you see it. Oh, that looks so good. All right, guys, so here's our plate. Here's our ribs. And just keep in mind, it looks dark like that because I used a dry rub. There's my corn. I have a bowl of melted butter on the table, so we can just put some on there. And then there's my potatoes. And this is what we're gonna have for dinner tonight.